Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
G2 will be taking on the Ninjas in Pyjamas, a battle of the ninja versus the samurai, and we're not really sure on who's going to be crying. That's a poem I wrote just now. What do you think?
Liked it.
Freestyle?
Do you do like haikus as well?
How does the haiku go again? It's like two...
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I just thought you might.
It's a rule to haikus. It's like 257 or something.
Okay.
Or 443, 447. Not good
I
enough.
heard from the little man upstairs that we got some time up our sleeve here, Alex.
Yeah, so the reality of it is, ladies and gentlemen, is the game is not scheduled to be starting for another 15 or so minutes. So if you want to go get a snack and don't listen to us enter in this little podcast, you can do it. I wouldn't recommend it because this is going to be good. This is going to be some quality content. I think what we'll do is we'll just get the housekeeping out of the way just before we do end up talking about some random podcasts. First things first, Yanko, I throw you the ball and we bring up G2's recent results because that does tell the story of what's been going on here, and at the risk of repeating ourselves, it's not been great.
Grave, Alex. It's very grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, mixed bag, splitting the series against both teams this week, Astralis and Mousesports, who are both very strong teams. So I think that's a win for G2, all things considering, with all the roster changes, Shox being benched, Mixwell coming in, but Mixwell is in China playing WESG, so Shox is still playing for the team. And they're trying to get just as many points on the board as possible. They want to try and secure that playoff spot no matter the place.
And that's not a bad week, really. 2 wins and an overtime loss, so they got the point there. So that's a total of 7 points for the week so far, going up against NIP right now, who definitely is still finding their feet themselves. They have a chance to pick up even more points, and I think the looser they feel, the better Shox is playing. Even though he's on the way out, he's still one of the top contributors to this team and their victories thus far.
Absolutely, I think that is something to be very excited about, actually, is the fact that G2 could look completely different with Mixwell in that roster. With all of that said, though, they are playing versus Mousesports, a team that, well, they've already met recently, and let's not forget, no, I just said Mousesports, excuse me. That was the result we just saw.
Yep.
They are playing versus the Ninjas now, and they're a team that most people seem to be relatively impressed by, especially on the defensive side.
Well, we did see these 2 teams go head-to-head on the map of Mirage, which is the first one this evening, just back in Katowice in a best-of-3, and if I can wave my magic wand, maybe we can get it up.
It's a clap.
It's a clap?
There's the iPad. Here it comes. It's a double clap. See that? Bang.
Maybe I didn't connect
we're
it.
on camera. That's what I was looking for. That's what the clap was about.
Maybe I didn't connect it.
Yeah, I don't think.
Anyway, they went head-to-head. G2 won 16-6. Shox was the top fragger. First kills were pretty even. Clutches were pretty even, so there's no real outstanding things there. It's just Shox had a lot more kills than everybody else. So, oh, now we're talking. See, it's just a delayed little clap. Let me go back to where I was. Let me point out some key stats here. So things that I tend to look for as an analyst when looking at this stuff, if you look back at a match for standout things, right? Obviously, pistol rounds are very important. You can see, if I just scroll down a little bit, the order of the rounds. So G2 were able to pick up both pistol rounds. Very important in winning a map, Alex. It's funny that. You can also see on the screen first kills. Now, if you're winning a lot of the first kills, then you're probably going to be able to collapse on the round, especially, on the T side. You can go into those bomb sites, you're finding the entry kills, all that kind of stuff. You can see that it's quite even. Clutches as well, very even. That's only 3 clutches in the entire game. So this is just G2. And you can see here the frag distribution, if I come a little bit further down, was Shox and Apex just having a great game, and Get Right they're not really doing anything for that NIP side. That's something that needs to be a little bit different in the matchup tonight. We need to see more from Rez.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about, we talked about NIP's success actually in the Pro League this week, and we looked at stats and we read it down. It was like Draken, Rez, Get Right, Draken, Rez, Forest, Get Right, Dennis, and it's like, there you go. That's where it should be, and that's actually if you flip that scoreboard on its head. I mean, it was wrong. It didn't work. It's not their recipe for success. And we did see G2 pick that one up in Katowice. Of course, things aren't necessarily tickety-boo right now for G2. And I don't. The reason I kind of probably come across as quite deflated and unenthusiastic right now is just because this G2 game means nothing. Like as in it does for the Pro League for the finals, 100%. I mean those 3 points and 6 points are important. But for someone that wants to see the long run and to understand the changes, now it's already happened. It's like when you lose a teammate in Counter-Strike and you're sitting there like, well, I could still win, but it would.
For the development of the team, you bang on, this means absolutely nothing, right? This is actually detrimental because the more games they win by playing a loose style, they'll be like, oh, maybe things were going to work out, Maybe if we just play this the whole time.
They'll be saying that. That's going to come out of their mouths.
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is they needed a new leadership role and they needed to have more structure if they want to have consistency within this team. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Mixwell comes in. learning French.
Then I'll be excited. Oh, dude, I will be
Exactly.
jumping from the roofs.
Because we get to see a G2 hopefully on an upward trajectory. Right now, we're just seeing a team that is just playing for the sake of this is the roster they are left with because their new stand-in is nowhere to be found. He's, what is it, like 14 hours away on plane in China playing a tournament.
For the Woololulus.
Yeah, the Spaniards.
Do you think their name is in reference to Age of Empires?
Yeah, 100%.
It is. I love that. That was good.
It's pretty cool.
I remember catching my dad playing my Age of Empires when I first bought it.
My dad wanted to get into playing Counter-Strike, and I was like, look, dude, this isn't for you.
I came downstairs and he was in the Iron Age.
Mm.
He was making those stone throwers.
You're already in the Imperial Age by then, Alex.
You know it. He did make a new save game, though. That was cool.
Did
That
you
was cool
ever
of him.
play, like, did you actually build the Wonders?
Not really.
Because you build the Wonder, and then...
I just used all of the cheats and ran around in a little
Big
sports
Daddy.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
car. I mean,
was
bearing
it
in mind I was very
Photon Man?
young at the time. It was Age of Empires 1.
There was Photon Man, and the Big Daddy was the car.
Was it Big Daddy? Yeah, I know. You typed, how do you turn this on? And that gave you the car. And then Woodchuck Wood, I think. No, something like that.
There's one you could get
Robin
boats.
Hood gave you gold
There's Flying Dutchman to get boats to go on land.
to go on land. That's
Yep.
right.
Mhm.
God damn, that was a while ago.
Rolling back the years.
Yeah, I remember all of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been talking about all the games we used to play. What have you been up to on this server? We do have an opportunity to check it out. It is a nice weekly segment where we take a look at what you guys have been doing in the server. It's called Community Plays, and you can submit your clips as well. Nice and easy to do so. You just go to ESL. And okay, let's check it out.
Well, that's a second kill for the old boy. This must be in Asia. Look at the Chinese symbols.
Yeah, not always.
You don't think so?
There's lots of those kind of like
I don't usually see them in my matchmaking, but these
dinosaur people.
quite a nice round here. Malta. OJ's partially from Malta.
He is. I've been there. It's
He's
lovely.
from everywhere, to be honest.
Check that out.
Bit of everything going
Bit
on.
of a pistol round gamer.
Oh, that's a crisp shot. I can't ever get the Glock to work for me.
Screw the Glock.
Pistols are the one thing I still know how to use.
Genie at work, a local boy from Denmark. He's even got DK in his name just to let us all know.
He's proud.
I'm proud of your heritage.
Danish and proud.
Viral Scream Skull was the frag he got there. Look at that. Nice work from him. Lulu a little bit poop there from him.
Oh,
but
that
you
was a
can
quick
submit
one.
your clips now. Be sure to do it. You go to esl.gg/plplays. Nice and easy. And then you can go ahead and submit your clips and we get to watch them and talk about them.
We should play a bit of ESCA this weekend when we're all back at home and we can see who
I
gets
did-
the best clip to submit.
I did just get an insider account. I'm ready
Yeah,
to
I
rock and
hooked you
roll.
up.
You did? I
Yep.
appreciate that. I'm gonna be running around. I used to have, I think my best month was a 13 RWS month. That's the best I could do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we can fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get me up to that B minus, B plus.
I only played ESCA for officials where I had to.
Yeah. How did you do?
Great, as you can see.
Yeah, as you stand here and the desk.
Well, we're all laughs here today at the ESL Pro League. Guys, it's Thursday. It's a great day to be alive.
I don't know how I'm supposed to fill this time because
I've got a good idea.
I don't want to talk about G2 NIP.
We don't have to.
There's nothing to be
I
said.
got a real good idea for you.
Okay, hit me.
Let's talk about the state of Counter-Strike right now with all the different tournaments we have and the fact that teams have to prioritize which tournaments they want to try at. How ridiculous does that sound coming out of my mouth?
Prioritize which tournaments they try at. I'm sure
I don't
Yanko
think it's
would
try.
disagree.
I think it's just a matter of, there's so many tournaments. How do you prioritize which one you're playing to win no matter what? And which one every tournament you're playing to win is just what is your focus, right?
Sure.
As we say time and time again, teams are trying to find a way to win tournaments consistently, right? Not just win one tournament. What are you in today's Counter-Strike? You win one tournament, even if it's a major, and then you are irrelevant after that. You don't show up in finals, or you do and you get blown out. What have you achieved? Nothing. You're going to be in some column as a team that won a major, but in the grand scheme of things, you're not going to leave your mark or anything like that. So that's why every team is looking to how do we do what SK did, win both tournaments, both majors in the year, or like Fnatic did, win 6 tournaments in a row. Those are the things that you will remember. Obviously, the NIP 87-0, right? That's the initial one and all of that stuff. So I think that's why we see teams like Astralis have the rule where they play like one LAN tournament a month, and we have teams, skip some smaller tournaments or come to some of the bigger LAN tournaments with practice. Because when you look at the both online leagues as well that we have, for some of these teams, they don't really have that much time to solely focus on practice. So going to a big LAN tournament, for example, Starladder had the practice rooms in the hotel. You play one game a day, one best of 3, but then after that, you have the rest of the day to just put the practice in.
And I think that is, in my mind, where we should end up. Like, I really like teams doing the Astralis kind of idea of you decide which event you're going to be attending within that month. You then have, that which time you're allocated on either side for your not only online games, but genuinely time at home to rest, relax, and work hard. I just think like, we know what it feels like because we travel to the same events the players do.
Sure.
I don't know if I could consistently perform at my very best as a player if I was doing what we're doing, traveling the world.
That's what's so impressive about FaZe, right?
Yeah,
is the
I don't know
fact
how
that
they
keep
do
making it to the grand final. Sure, there's probably a couple that they should have closed over the last 6 months or 8 months, whatever you want to look at the time frame, that they didn't. But the fact of the matter is they consistently make it to those finals, all those semi-finals, and that's what's probably the most impressive thing, and they want to attend every event. Upsets me about the whole scenario is we're going to have all these events. If everybody isn't going into it at 110% each event, then are we really getting the best Counter-Strike team who is winning that event? That's a question mark, right? And I hate going into all these tournaments with caveats. Oh, they just changed roster.
Yeah, but
this guy's sick.
Y.
I hate that. It feels like it's cropping up more and more so.
For me, the major should be that. Should be
The World Cup.
The World Cup, like, in my mind, it's like 4 weeks minimum of no offline competition for Tier 1 Counter-Strike prior to that. And then we get real lovely rosters are locked.
The players are rusty, Alex. There are no tournaments being played. If you put it at the end of the season, players are exhausted and, tired of all the tournaments. So
A
where do you
June
put it?
major.
Like, you put it
Yes.
somewhere in between or something along those lines. Schedule of the major aside, I think when you look at the major, it has many flaws. It doesn't. It's not a best tournament in perhaps any category, barring prestige. Format, far from the best format we have when it comes to CS tournaments. Also, roster locks present a whole different type of an issue. You have sometimes a third of the teams come into the tournament with either not their own rosters at the time, or straight after the major, they're going to change their roster, right? You look at the prize money, there are tournaments out there, multiple actually, from different tournament organizers that offer more prize money and a bigger first place prize purse as well. So you look at the major, and in comparison to the rest of the scene, the only thing it has, granted it's a big deal, is the prestige and the in-game badge and the fact that you can say you are a major champion. But I think like majors should be even more than that. You should give players some of the reasons. Some of the players who have won majors previously, we've even seen like SK publicly stated like the major wasn't a big deal for them. They couldn't play with Bolts. They had to play with Phelps. They don't really care about the result that they've had there in a sense. Yeah, obviously they would have liked to have won it no matter what, but they weren't really disappointed by their result. They retained the legend spot and all that, and they were like focusing on WESG out of all things. So exactly, that turned out great for them. But you can tell, right? And for me, it kind of sucks, for any the player to say something like that. I'm not blaming them for. I'm not judging them. In reality, it's probably an objective way and the most logical way to go about things. But you wouldn't want to have that happen. You want, no matter what, for the major to be the pinnacle for everyone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's something that something that I need to understand is the roster lock rules. How
it ties people's hands, man, those roster lock rules. Like, it actually...
Why do they exist?
It exists so that you cannot, screw someone over by just changing, 3 or 4 players. You can even have, one player find a better org and say, yeah, I'm going to change. You need to have some org not screwing the players, rather, right? So it's locked to the players that have won the slot. Majority of the team, if they decide to change the other 2 players, well, it's the majority, and it is what it is. It's not ideal, but I think that should probably stay, the majority of the team rule. But you need to change the whole minor thing and so forth. Like, player who played in the minor qualifier cannot play for any other team, or a player who played in the minor. I think that can be
especially
changed.
Considering how many teams compete at the minor. You've got so many different regions as well. And if there is anyone that was good, if you look to the player base, how many of the players that are competing in outside of the minor are actually going to be Tier 1, capable of joining a Tier 1 team?
Exactly right.
All those nuggets, all of those players that could be free agents soon are going to be probably likely competing in a minor.
Well, let's just look at the last major, right, and look at what happened with the Steel and Bolt scenario. That was the two, right? So obviously Bolts couldn't play for SK, and Steel couldn't play for Liquid, right? And that was because they were a part of the Immortals team, who were already, which makes even less sense for me. Yeah. They were already, you know, going to be in the major. So it just completely blows my mind that they were already going to be in the major, just for a different team. What's the problem with them playing for a different team? Like, I can't even see the benefit of that. Like, what is that stopping? There were still enough players in the 100 Thieves, or whatever they were called at the time, roster, to be able to go to the event, right? Yeah. So where's the problem? I don't actually see what the drama was there.
Yeah, I think, you know, the thing with Valve is a rule is like set in stone, and there's no discretionary rule where, you know, obviously under your own discretion, the tournament organizer or potentially Valve can say, yeah, this is the general rule, but for example, in that case, doesn't, you know, ruin anyone's chances to be at the major, so I just let these two players play with their respective lineups. It also sucks for the players, you know, to miss a major. It's a huge deal, especially for guys like Bolts and Steel, who've been working very hard with that Immortals lineup to even qualify for a major first. Then they reach the grand final and all of that. But for me, a huge deal is the format. I really like that from the start of 2018, barring the major, obviously, we've switched to this format where it's predominantly best of threes, and you can see how fewer upsets there are in terms of who makes it into the playoffs. Yes, there are some surprises here and there, but that's also fair because you can't take anything away from those teams. You can't take anything away from NIP making the playoffs in Katowice. They got there in best of threes. They beat G2 in a best of three series, right? So I think it just adds legitimacy to everything, to the team that won, to the team, you know, that just made the playoffs, for example. You know, if it's a best of one, so many people could say for Mouse Sports, oh yeah, they breezed through, they beat like SK in a best of one, you know.
But it was best of one.
Yeah, but you look at who Na'Vi beat to get to the playoffs, it's actually ridiculous. They didn't even beat anybody good.
Sprout, QBF twice.
Liquid with a stand-in.
And Liquid with a stand-in.
And Fnatic.
And they're top 4 at the major.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that when we're talking about legitimacy of getting there, this is what people don't understand.
The major before, you had Envious.
Flip side.
Envious made in the qualifier for Atlanta in 2017, the first T-League major. They beat Tyloo, Spirit, and I think Vega, all on Dust 2. That's another thing. You get to play like the same map throughout. What's the point of that?
People don't understand, right? So the thing is, a best of one is a discipline in itself, right? But when you have a best of one in a Swiss system that's randomly drawn against opponents that you don't get to choose, and you can veto down to one map, you could have the easiest run. And like exactly like the big thing, like the Envious thing. The thing with the best of three is it is a completely different ballpark. You have to have a depth of your map pool. You have to play at least, I think it's like 4 or 5 maps, right? A best of one can be 2 pistol rounds and a crazy clutch and you've lost the game, right? And that's the way the cookie crumbles. I completely understand that. But if you want to find out who the best team in the world is,
that's not how you do it.
And you want to have it at the most prestigious event, then you need to have a better format.
Yeah, and it also eliminates the chance of overperformance on a single map. I mean, we saw it yesterday here. Sunny, 46 kills on one map in overtime, and then 0 kills in a 15-round half on second map. Span of 10 minutes, right? The difference between the two. Obviously, that's an extreme example, but those things happen. You know, individuals can overperform on one map, and then on the second map, you know, they could like go back to what's their average level of play. So I think that's another big issue with having best of ones. Over the course of a best of 3, it's a whole different beast.
And I do think, so the only thing, though, and one of the reasons that we don't do best of 3s all the way is because of scheduling.
So it's my understanding that Valve want everybody to have a chance to be streamed equally. That's why they only have one stream.
To do with the broadcast.
So here's the thing. Here's what majors are from a Valve perspective, a way to showcase their game to as many different parts of the world as humanly possible. That's why we have like a CIS minor. That's why we have minors for Asia, right? They want to have their fingers in as many pies as possible to have their game as global as possible. Now, I have been told, talking to a Valve developer at one of these events, that it is not the World Championship of Counter-Strike, that it is a showcase of their game and what Counter-Strike is, right? So for the way that we look at it as purists or people that love the game and get up every day to come in here and watch Counter-Strike and talk about Counter-Strike is, the major should be the World Championship. It should decide who the best team of that era is.
They don't think it's that.
No.
Yeah, but if it's not that, then it's not that. Then it's the Valve tournament of the year, like there is an ESL 1, like there is an E-League tournament, like there is an IEM, a DreamHack Masters. It's just another tournament in the circuit. And Sure, that's fine. It just sucks that, you know, we started off because obviously the scene was in its infancy and we had this $250,000 tournament, you know, organized by Valve with all these like cool things like, you know, the way the vetoes went and the in-game stuff and all of that. So it was pretty cool. And now every, you know, organizers have really upped their game in terms of prize pools, organizations, stages, locations, you name it, everything. So, you know, I think if I was Valve, I would like, you know, why would I let just this be another tournament?
It could be so much more.
It could be so much more, exactly, with not that big of an investment.
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and get invested into this next game. Now, the reason we weren't talking too much about it is because we have talked our socks off about what NIP are going to be doing with new Dennis. The answer often we find ourselves saying time, and with G2, there's very little we're going to be able to say because this is a different game altogether. Until Mixwell arrives, this is just going to be 5 good players running around shooting their opponents, and that's pretty much all that can be said about that one from an analytical perspective. But our casters, from a casting perspective, can have a load of fun because Shox is going to be running around dropping 30 again. Ever since he's been sent to the bench, he seems to be looking loosey and goosey.
Loosey and goosey. It's a bit of a swan song, right? It's like that. Just why not go down swinging at this point? Just have a bit of fun with it. Remember, like NIP in Dubai, right? It was one of those where it's like didn't care anymore, and they did well. Like it's one of those that can work. They're super talented guys, but we all know it's got that expiry date coming close. Yeah, and suddenly just all of those restrictions, that framework is lifted. It's just like, hey man, go do that game, play that game you've been playing for years, and there you guys can cast that game you've been casting for years. Have fun. Alex, you want to cast it? Nah, he's good. He's good. He's done a lot of talking today.
Typically he does. That is what he's paid for.
Yep. Did Dennis forget to buy armor? So I don't see any utility.
He
I might have missed it.
He might have already thrown a smoke.
Yeah, so we're a little bit late to that one.
Could be something to put already. We didn't catch it. You're right. Forest to start it. NBK to answer that immediately. Rez to take down NBK. So all things going the way. Oh, of NIP. Look at Rez. What a third shot that was. Good kill, I should say. It's now Apex to try and do something of it, but NIP take the pistol round. Fast one at that.
Yeah, that was very quick. I think we did miss the start because it looks like, I'm wondering with Dennis's money, like what he invested, but still, that all aside, NIP did pick it up. And coming back, we can have a little look back at what Rez was up to. Really nice position, not pressured too much. He was able to kind of bring these to 1v1s, and you can see that really nice shot towards Shox. Shot him down early, always a good feeling. Keep him from starting to feel out the game, and G2, complete eco. Maybe looking for a purchase as soon as possible, of course. Once they get that, we might see Galil's coming out. We'll see what they go for. At this point, they literally have very little to work with. If they can get a plant out of this, that'd be very impressive. That'd be quite nice for them. Plenty of potential. We've seen some really kind of unique approaches to getting bomb plants, especially in the last couple of days. Trying to make that happen. But I don't know if that's going to be the case here. But already Rez to find MBK. That's kind of your man by A gone. That might give a little bit of the picture up. But G2 aren't really committing anyway. They haven't gone for the full stack to try and just get the plant off the back of a waterfall towards A. And of course you want those UMPs, or the UMP on Forest, to do what it can. But a heavy rifle investment. I'm wondering if this is because NIP know what G2 like to do on this. I am curious. We'll see if that actually may be a factor in this one down the line. But Draken's got loads of room. He's been able to get so much information playing up towards the top middle here. And the rest of G2 falling on back. And Draken's going to hear all of those steps.
Draken trying to swing back around to catch them as they retreat or move back over toward the A site. Does catch off body. Bomb inside a palace, that'll be revealed. They've got 3 men sitting inside of the A site to catch them off as well. Perfectly positioned with Dennis staring toward the palace, and Dennis, Prince and the Popper, I don't know what that even means. Gonna get 2 kills and an assist. Rez to add into it, 2-0 for NIP.
All right, here we go. Let's see. This is what I'm curious about. The reason NIP didn't go for all the UMPs and such is because they know that G2 like to go on this buy if it doesn't work out for them. The fact that they'll like to go to like the Galils, very little else. Of course, you can't buy much more than that. You're kind of a little limited, but you can see the smoke hit coming through. This could be a nice little read from NIP. Hopefully, they're starting to do that homework we kind of expected, or we were curious about what was going to happen with the coaching coming in, and the switch up there in Dennis IGL. At the moment, Dennis is actually going walkabouts. He's very close, very attentive toward ramp, and he did wonders with that just yesterday. Very, very diligent play off the back of it. So that could be a factor here, but always tricky. Shock's already down low, but it looks like the hit is coming through, and Dennis already capable of controlling the first man out.
Let's just go high. Wants to try and peek toward A main. Interesting way of flashing it. Bounce off top and then drop back down, but Dennis gets close to the smoke, and read by body. And killed. Taken out of the round. We go to 4 versus 4. Rez on 15 HP. Or HP, as you say in your world.
We make it sound like some mythical land of...
Listen, Hemroni. Or should I say, Hemroni?
It's getting mocked here, Matt. What is this?
Just
You've
saying.
been real spicy today.
HP.
Okay. You know, I'll let you have it. Like, I'm not going to argue. You can do what you want. Been...
Well, I usually do.
It will be Forest if they go for that B hit.
Society can't hold me down.
I know, you fight the man. And MBK's gonna have to fight Forest pretty soon. You can already see that Apex is getting some good ground gained. Almost outdid Get Right, but not to be the case. It's still gonna be Forest. Stoic in nature, not moving. You can see patience is certainly part of the game plan, but he's just not ready. MBK a little quicker on the trigger, and he gets the Peeker's advantage. Molotov will deny the plant, make him adjust round, push him towards Sean Drake, and trying to get in there real quick, but it's MBK. 2 big kills back to back will mean this is looking good for them, but time, he needs to get that bomb planted. Let's get right left in the 1v2. 46 HP though, Matt. Bit of a tall task, but he actually finds body, and the second felt almost possible, but MBK keeps it together for 4 kills.
Keep it together, Heather. It's the only thing I can think of that rhymed with it. Be nice if your name was Heather. MBK looking solid. Started off with body. Sorry.
I'll get doing some observing. Like Heather.
Yeah, there
we
you go. Yeah.
I'll work on it.
Maybe if she misses a kill, I'll just say, keep it together, Heather. But it started off with body taking the A site trade. And it ends with MBK just mopping the floor with everybody. Get right toward the window. M4 in hand, so not much utility deployed in mid this time, actually. Interestingly as well, because that seems to be a standard formality at this point in time on Mirage.
And I actually wondered down the line what we're going to see from MBK, because we've seen various iterations from this current lineup. We got given more fun roles, right, when it was, you know, within its, I guess, tendency of still being alive. Prior to that, if you ever spoke to him, it's like, you know, he got given a lot of the kind of more tedious roles, a lot of, you know, very, very dedicated support play, not much freedom. I'm wondering if he's going to open himself up for a bit more play if he is IGL, or if he's going to, you know, step away from that. But that's something for the future. For now, we will be seeing NIP trying to control middle. Dennis needs to be careful to not go, you know, a little overextended here. You can see G2 playing him through underpass. Dennis! Great impact from him, but it's not without a reply. Rez quickly tries to get in there to try and nullify what's been going on and what's been going wrong, but that's not going to happen. 2 left for NIP, and Forest is burning alive.
Draken still to hold underneath of the balcony. Right to walk back out and take 2 as they slide into the site. 1 with their back turned, expecting that they would arrive from the jungle position. But he's no fool. I was gonna say monkey, like fool, monkey, you know how like as a kid? Stop monkeying around.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure people would get the correlation in today's society. It might be viewed as a little too edgy.
No, don't be edgy.
So 3-1 for NIP.
Yeah, and G2's money's now going to be suffering. They've gone on the buy to, you know, a decently large amount for them. And they can do wonders with these things. It looks like that kind of back to what works, or at least what they feel works. Dennis waiting on towards Palace. And the rest of them kind of by ramp, at least mostly for G2. There is one man towards Palace for themselves. That'll be Apex. The Molotov probably going to come through. The smoke goes in first. The molly towards the lower side. But Dennis is still fine. Apex does sneak through, so that could be a bit of an issue, but he's going to have to unravel so much here. NIP have 3, 4, almost 5 players now present, and Dennis gets to unleash for 1. Get right there in support. Doesn't he have the CZ to hand, so he's going to get mowed down by Apex. This is not over just yet, but Forest, from up above, cool, calm, collected, should be able to handle so much, and he does. It's shot left in the 1v2, completely blind. Gets forced away towards Tetris, and that Deagle would have to do something above what he's capable of achieving. 4-1, a close round and a costly one for NIP, but it's a round on the board nonetheless. And again, G2's money not in the right place just yet.
AK-47 for Draken, MP9 for Dennis, but nonetheless still more than that which G2 is equipped with, because they've got Glocks and P250s. We can be gangster in esports now. Drake was playing that cartoon game, not Overwatch, the other cartoon game today.
Baby's first shooter, that one.
That's the one.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
Some construction.
Sweet building mechanics, bro. Love it.
To be fair, it looks like a really cool game. And it
Have you
probably
actually played
is
any of it yet?
not enough of it to make an
Okay.
actual opinion. So I'm just being a troll right now.
No, I actually
looks-
find it really good fun.
Yeah, it looked like the
It's
building
shallow, but it's
mechanics
fun.
seems really interesting. That's the thing. I think the skill level is a little, and I'm not. But again, haven't played enough to be skillful yet, so can't make that assessment. And it's just not my style. It's just not. That's all. And that's fine. Everyone can have their own taste. You know, I like blondes. You like brunettes. Whatever. Dragon
Say,
takes
it's one
down
of those dark
body.
eyes.
Exact cheekbones.
Oh,
Rez to close it out takes Apex. Apex with the only kill for G2. 5-1 for NIP.
yeah, a comfy round there. At least we get the buy now coming back in for G2. It feels like, you know, that money system for them, it can be so hit and miss, and consistency is going to be, you know, dragged into question, at least with the lineup for now, until things kind of switch back from what's going to be happening. But we will see the buy. Kenny, only on the CZ. Don't see much more for him, and that's a curious thing, isn't it? From AWP to CZ, still pretty comfortable rest, though. What a way to make an impact begin in this round. Finding Apex to begin with. You can see Kenny's not afraid to go for this. He does find the rifle. So he picks that up off the fallen teammate, but Dennis instantly trades it out. There's no easy way forward for G2 here. It feels like everything they do, NIP have an answer to. They get one better than them, but Kenny's still going to try and make the difference. And I think this was Henry yesterday saying that, you know, Kenny, people underestimate how good he can be with this rifle, and you can't underestimate him. Look at this guy go, creating plenty of opportunities up towards short, but there is one man in his way. It's Dennis. The flash is so good. G2 on the fly, playing some great CS here, taking one-to-one fights and actually winning them out right now.
Yeah, looking really solid. Get right. Still just chilling out. From Checker, nades go through. He's going to keep sliding around until he finds an angle that's favorable. Down as they are in the situation with only one kit. Might be advisable to save, despite that they've got a healthy lead in the game. I think that's exactly what they're going to do with the AWP of Draken, especially still hanging out inside of middle. So AK in hands. Will retreat from the site, stay alive. 3 up for G2. And after 2 rounds, it's not a massive ordeal on the reset, but still a factor nonetheless. Not with 3 staying alive. They should be okay in this situation. NIP, question ultimately is how much residual cash do they have? Because obviously they'll be able to buy in this round, but the one afterwards, not so much. Not with Forrest on 37.50. In fact, he's going to be calling out for a drop. I think Rez has already dropped one over to him. Yeah, he has.
All right.
So this round
Double
determines
AWAP.
who takes the lead.
Yeah, pretty
Not
much.
only... sorry, not on the scoreboard, but strictly economically speaking.
Economically. I can't say it very well. Draken!
It's not bad.
I'll try my best. I'll work on it. You know, it's not like it's my job or anything.
No, exactly.
You know, words, tricky. Math, not even going to start. Shocks with 2, though, that's a really good beginning for them. And you can see that power still with G2, even in the kind of, I guess, ruins of what this team is currently. They still have so much power to the roster. Get right. Going to stop that hit coming through completely towards A. Not going to give it for free. Make them work for it. Bomb now collected. And anyway, you don't really have much information, so they're going to try and play this smart. Try and play a way back in with a man disadvantage. Gerard's going to position himself on ramp. That's always awkward to try and handle for the T side. But what about the B side of things? You've got Dennis playing right at the back of that window. So he's a long way away from this. You can see G2 creeping, leaning towards that B side. But hey, we've seen Dennis do some big, big things here. Looking for a little bit of something, but he might just miss the timing on them. It depends on how this goes. What about that feel? And Kenny? Ooh, the flick's not quite there. Dennis, how many lives do you have? I don't know you're going to get away with that twice, and both of them miss, actually. So opportunities are plenty. Bomb can be planted. You've got Get Right on the lurk, but look who else is on the lurk. It's Shocks. Right around the back, knife in hand, ready to do the damage. But I think they're aware that, or they're trying to save, oh, this could be huge. Nice play from Shocks to find one. Could have maybe grabbed that up as well, but Dennis trying to make a quick dash for it as Get Right's not going to be able to get much done from those apartments, but maybe himself looking to get those exit kills.
Body working back out toward the top of the ladder. Get Right swings underneath in the underpass. With that vent being blown out, Get Right certainly knows exactly where he is, but we said it, this round determines who gets the money advantage, monetary values of the games of Counter-Strike. The meta in itself, in some ways. In doing so, this could mean G2 pulls back in. Dennis does get Apex down, bomb to detonate. Get Right spotted Kenny, sprays to the window, hoping he'll carelessly re-peek and take a stray bullet to the face, but he's not going to do so. So 2 players stay alive either side, but the round and the money in favor, as we mentioned, of G2. G2. Drop the base.
Did you ever see, like, from first to last and stuff like that?
Ah, Skrillex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I was
Sonny
so
Moore?
confused. Yeah, Sonny Moore, man. I was
Yeah.
so confused for a long time. I was like, that can't be the same. Oh my god, it is.
Hi, my name is. I remember this girl wrote a song about Sonny Moore just making fun of him, and then he turned out to be Skrillex. Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. God, that's a. I was having a little throwback start to the day. To be fair, I was having that little
Yeah.
Throwback session.
Ride
but,
the wings of pestilence.
Yeah, that jam. What was the one where they're out in the desert in the video?
Oh,
I think
God,
that was
I
it.
don't
I
know.
can't remember honestly.
Should have stayed there.
Oh, just, you know, disgraceful pass behind us. We're going to have to look at Dennis here. He's the man who can make the difference, the man with the orb, able to keep that to hand after the last round kind of fell to pieces. G2, of course, on the much better buy. Great purchase beside them. Kenny might have seen him there for a second, but Dennis, very quick, very good. But the bomb is planted, and still 3 more players to find who have great utility. Look at Body, look at Apex. Molotov's in hand. The bomb's planted. Dennis again. What? Can people not see Dennis? Guys, can we just get a check on if this guy is somehow invisible right now? Because G2 are ignoring it. I don't know who they thought was maybe watching it, but Dennis again, being the kind of point of this spear, and the Molotov goes in from Body. That could be a disaster, and it looks like it might be. Dennis does have a kit, and he's found Apex, but that bomb is taking him out. I don't know if there's enough time for this.
Certainly not. Rez is going to pop back up. Body goes down, and Dennis on the
Oh.
defuse just barely gets it. All right, fair enough. So NIP steal around back. They take control again on 6-3. Money there. G2's got to force this surely because already making a contest to steal away the half. They lose the advantage we spoke of, but they know that NIP is still going to be very fragile, and they themselves have enough, just enough to buy in, so they will. They will. MBK goes to a Digal.
All right, G2. You've been kind of messed with here. This is normally your thing. You guys pull off those crazy moments. You have Kenny S, you had Shocks, you got it all. Not seeing that right now. Double up back out. Dennis, Drake, and where are they as well? Where are we seeing this? Dennis is on a rotate. All right, and Drake and over by A. So both ops on the same side of things.
Shocks boosted up from coming out of underpass. We'll check toward catwalk. No one peeking. They'll check the window underneath the ladder as well. Notice the grates are gone. Boost again. Just timing everything. Why not check, double check, triple check? Smoke behind them is enough to at least give them the confidence to work inside of connector. They'll do that, or at least peek through. I say they're going to do it, and then they take the bomb back to catwalk and look toward B. That in part due to the fact that they have NBK working out from apartments still. So Rez to be the one to spot. Yeah, okay, I was going to say spot it. He did. He did it. He certainly makes good on it as he peeks back out. That baits out the shot. Forrest has to hit one of those, surely. Rez did everything for him, and good shot from Dennis, but they're about to run him down. Bomb stuck in the corner, mind you, so Apex has to get a kill just to get this back into position to plant. Good position from Draken. Both ops well placed, and Draken doubles up to take down Apex. 7-3, 10 rounds in for NIP in the lead.
Okay. I do feel this game's gonna be a bit of a brawl, you know? It's like both teams are in such a weird position right now. I kind of miss seeing well-constructed Counter-Strike. And I'm wondering how much leeway we start giving teams as well, you know what I mean? There's always that like, oh, we're in this position right now, oh, we're doing this. And it's completely warranted sometimes, but I'm wondering what the expiry date is, you know? Like, obviously G2, do what you want, that's fine. You don't even have your 5 players yet. But for NIP, it's like, okay, well, what marker do we put on, you know, how long do we give these, you know, young players to come into their own with, you know, the coach and, you know, such and so on. I want to see, like, you know, that sort of thing come through. I really miss that well-constructed Counter-Strike you start to see at points. But for now, this should be a bit of a whitewash. This should be very clean for NIP. You don't want to be losing out on players. You don't want to be allowing those bomb plants, and that's exactly what's happening. The pistols are being held at bay, and you're going to see Shocks being found. Went on a bit of a mission and merely got caught. So for now, the money really stabilizes for a good couple of players on the NIP side. You got almost 10k sitting on Drake in there. You got, you know, Dennis as well, starting to get really, really strong. And Dennis having a really big game. Credit to him. It feels like he's coming to this roster and Giselle will ride it. Like, I don't know how good his IGLing is. Obviously, that's from a super external perspective. But individually, he's really coming through. And speaking of individually, Body, 1 kill here. With no one really shining from G2 either. They seem a little flat, but this could be a quicker hit from G2 possibly. I'm wondering what the go point is. But look at NIP, so aggressive here on ramp.
Dennis, get right, both finding kills, falling off of it. Kenny's going to try and sneak back into the angle and at least make amends. The interesting aspect of it is that Dennis is effectively Fnatic's last in-game leader, which was let loose or made a decision to go elsewhere, whatever you want to look at it, to make room for Golden, their new in-game leader. NIP brought in Dennis, trying to get rid of their in-game leader Exist, who now might be replacing Golden.
It's a crazy thing, right? Like, that just blows my mind.
Where's the linear perspective from a tactical standpoint. I'm not sure. Maybe they just need change, period.
You know, a couple of people sat down talking about it, but CT completely for him. He can really kind of make it uncomfortable, but Drake can still find the shot, and body left so bomb, and he is not moving too. Man. Body on the push, on the hunt, and he's not stopping. Take me, Daddy Dennis, is what he was saying. Let's not. Opportunity, but the bomb. Special hit. Smoke goes.
Didn't he? It was like. Purchase, so too to Shocks. What do they do?
You know, you opened up the avenue, and I.
We have a job.
Hold on. Jobs to do. Body block. Still that. Again in dark, and then you've got Draken towards. It's the T side now. But Forest just that bit better, and this is very.
In this league, I can't picture them making playoffs at this point in time. A vibrant picture of.
For the CT side. Draken's still the consistent, but then Reds this time. And G2, what's the game plan now? You've got a decent purchase here. Finally, we get to you on that goodbye. See them bait. not going to shy away. He's still very, very good. But I mean, hard ramp again, not
Ooh, that's not. Above him, misses a shot as he. Shox is positioned according. Advantage at least to get the bomb down for G2.
Yeah, Shock's doing as much as tough spot. He has to plant now, and he gets it just in time. Right on 16 HP. Get right gets removed, and on the half, well, there's still a little life left in G2. There's still a great feel a little disenchanting to watch this, but good for an IP. It puts him in a good position going.
Dominant first half. They can replicate their success not only in the pistol round, but in the second half at all. Rather one-sided as you'd expect between Dennis and Apex. Although Apex does manage to get into the double digits, not really much else going for him, whereas Dennis pleased with that. 11-4.
Looks like a pretty standard A smoke hit coming through. And already success. Finding body is good. Kenny now asked a lot. He is still going towards A, and there's no that obviously. That's something they're going to find out soon. That is taking. Leaves Get Right in the 1v4. Bombs planted.
We'll bring this to around again. Certainly. They can get up toward 11-7, and be 4 rounds between them. So an M4 brought out for Apex immediately.
It's a little.
Super.
Okay.
Not really, no.
You're playing a dangerous game here. But he's safe enough. He's got friends. All the right friends in all the right places. Rez does go down, and there's the top mid control from Apex. And it all should be fine, and it is. No extra money really gained here. Kenny S, I guess, maybe wanting to take a couple more risks. If you lose out on that gun, you can get back on the AWP eventually. But I mean, it's the long con we're going for here, and they need this round. This is the big one for G2. This opens up that chance to really get back in. Get this round, keep it. We might have.
Needs to top of mid. Body inside of the main entrance just gets completely annihilated by a flash. Or rather throws one out that annihilates the receiving end. I apologize. It's Forrest.
Did you get something wrong, Matt?
Yeah, all the time.
Come on.
Listen, I'm casting with a female. Everything I say is going to be wrong. Ooh, subtle sixes of what up now?
Oh, God. And it's like, I can't say anything back, really, because, I've got to know my place as a woman.
Wow, okay, all right,
Oh, there we
it.
go. Smoke towards
Any key.
CT. Body has to wait this out. And he actually waits maybe a second too long there. Didn't expect it, hoping they'd come over the top of Tetris. It wasn't the case. And G2 being dismantled. NIP a little late on the hit, taking their time for a second, but it's worked well. The high flash works nicely, but Kenny's actually kind of got ahead of where they expected, but it's Shocks to strike. 2 kills coming in through connector. And very well contained in the end. That looked like it was about to spiral out of control, but no, brought back into position. And NIP's money is certainly humbled. This is the round that was big for G2, and it's paid off. Now they're in a good position with money. They can start maybe building back in. And look at Body. You still need him to turn up a little bit. The guy is a super good supportive player. There's no disputing that, but you just need to get him on the board. You get that happening, and G2, well, they might just have a bit of a shot at this matchup.
Certainly giving them a hope. NIP on the early buy, we said 11-7 was possible. It certainly was, but not in the same fashion we'd expect with that bomb plant going down from NIP early on. So now it certainly is a door open for G2. And speaking of open door, there's no doorway on the arch. There's no smoke in front of it. Apex tries to peek out and spot toward the underpass. He is certainly standing in the open, though. Susceptible to taking damage. Kenny's been picked down to 34 as well. He's got to back off. They've got a third player in the position. Shocks, he's gone. Thankfully, Kenny and Body are able to make up for it because they were slowly getting picked apart, and still are, to be fair.
I'm terrified they're all facing, but I mean, it's fine in the end, but 2 alive is a little scary, but G2 plenty of money to repurchase. Kenny's up on 10k, so that's an AWP coming in with full utility. And yeah, finally, we are seeing the G2 side actually being okay for cash. It feels like a common trend that we'll see them kind of suffering on that CT side, but this is good. Actually a double AWP as well, not messing around here. We have Shocks up on that, and then on the other side Draken, so I mean, we get the decent battle, if that's what you're into, the AWP battle. It's actually going to commence, and he sees the barrel of the scope. Shocks could have had that just a little off, but what a bit of information he found there. Smoke goes up towards Palace, gives him a little bit more freedom towards ramp. High flash towards middle for Kenny if he wants it, but he goes early. And really, this is nice between those two. So active in looking for these sort of different approaches.
G2 with Shocks on the stairs on an AWP. You're going to peek out and find Get Right, not before he found Body, so we sit traded evenly. And IP are going to start feeling some pressure about this game. Ooh, the gun battle. He saw the gun battle, and a good shot to take down Dennis as well on the AWP, as Rez works back in and finds Shocks. And IP now with the advantage, but Kenny to take Draken and say, get out of the air, man. Kills him on catwalk.
I think NBK might have heard those steps towards underpass. I'm not certain. But he's going to fall back to B anyway. I don't know if that's where the bomb's even going. He's going to have to consider this one. Forest is going all the way around. Kenny S up in Palace. You'll hear the steps. Towards ramp. Position noted, but he knows that scoping in could be a problem here. Has to be smart about it. NBK working his way back around. NIP falling back towards A. Forest getting quite far out now. Planting for connector. Kenny's going to have the opportunity here. Looking for it. Oh, the flash from NBK was actually a little bit of a hindrance, but he gets the shot anyway. Didn't blind up any of the NIP side either. So it's Rez left in the 1v2. Tags up both. He gets the kill towards NBK. It's a 1v1 and Kenny is looking like a madman. Or just goes leaping in. I don't know what he was expecting or what he was doing. But Rez wins the round regardless. NIP stabilized, even if just slightly.
Rez. Good hold. Good spray down on the edge of the stairwell. Kenny was a bit optimistic trying to push that far into the side to get the plant. So, NIP finally on the board in this, the second half, and controlling the lead at 4 rounds. They'll just inch this out at this point. That's all they need to do.
Well, this purchase is pretty shoddy for NIP. 2 UMPs. They've opted for utility, I guess, over certain firepower. So, bit of an investment and CT side aggression coming out from G2.
Kenny. Backs off the angle. He'll rotate toward the window. Need goes through. And Kenny's down to 24. Hey, you want a 2-4 this weekend, bud?
What does that mean?
Let's go get a 2-4.
What does that mean?
24 case of beer.
Oh, wow.
2-4.
That's a lot.
Hey, you heading to the liquor store later? Or the LC, the Liquor Commission? Pick me up a 2 for there, bud. 2 for the moose.
Honestly, I wish you would cast like that. Like the thickest accent you could like
No,
muster.
not, never.
Never?
It's not genuine. I'm not that thick. I have a maritime accent when I'm at home, but it comes out of me, but it's not.
It's not that.
No, that's like Newfoundland,
typical, right?
Cape Breton borderline right there. Tell me where you're at, and I'll come to where you're to.
It's like a whole different world.
Oh, it is. It's unreal.
All right, Drake and MBK the first challenge. I wonder if he's gonna even peek out that far. Obviously with the X-ray off, he can't see it. It's gun barrel shows. Very close to taking out his own teammate. Kenny's here as well, though. This could be. That could have been important if he hit the shot, but no. Dennis outdoes him with a UMP. That's a bit of value for money there.
So Denny has the bomb planted. And G2 are going to struggle to find footing in this round, I'm afraid, in a 5 versus 3 on retake. So already they're distributing themselves out across the map. And they'll try and save the weapons, the little amount they do have of weapons, into the next round. I say little amount, more speaking about Apex trying to compensate for having a smaller object as he has a UMP. He has head armor to make up for it, at least.
Gotcha.
Apex, the one to peek in, realizes that they are all in the hallway, but it's not really worth trying to take a few of them down and losing guns that they so desperately need in the next round to be able to force on the fact that they kept 3 guns alive. But it almost spells the end if they do so. At 13-8, it could become 14 if NIP win it, and then the money is gone.
It would be indeed. Forest on the AWP. Do we have a spawn here? Can we get on board with Forest? I want to see if he's got a front spawn towards middle or A, or... okay. Forest, let's see what you got. It's sight. Smoke goes in, Molly's connector, but look who's getting close. Body. Oh, this could... Alright, Forest, that's a shot. Did he see the second player in window? Did he see Kenny there? He might have done. You can see as he's watching it like a hawk. I'm wondering if he's going to try and stick around for this, but peeking the edge of the smoke. Always fun to see Forest on the AWP. Not exactly the consistent one. There was a bit of time where he picked it up. Smoke not great. But 3 players really being quite attentive towards middle from G2. You can see the player on short peeling off from this, that being MBK. Still one to connector, still one window. Actually, I think Apex is joining as well, so plenty of attention brought here. I'm really curious why they're reading so much into this. Maybe they can feel they can get that up away from Forest. But he's holding strong. Good connection towards Kenny. Molotov going to force him out again. Oh, this is lovely from Forest.
How does he
They're
survive?
kind of going in 1 by 1, but I mean, feels good.
8 HP, yeah, not too bad at all. And he's going to be happy with that. He can go down. He's gotten his 3 kills. Someone else can have a turn. And Draken has his. So who's going to get shocks? Maybe no one. Get right. It's like, I'll do it, guys. I got it. Who flashed me? Completely blinded by the light. Stack up. Like, I forget what it says there. Some runner in the night. Rez takes down Shocks at the top of the stairs, and it is 14-8, and the money, she gone.
She gone. This is nice. This is nice. Somehow
Burning
still alive. Yeah, that was pretty spicy, eh? And it's Dennis still having a big game. If we hit that scoreboard, you can see there, Draken's not too far off either, so doing pretty good for themselves on the other side. G2 going on the purchase that they can muster. It's still pretty lackluster in all elements. We saw MBK loving the SMG. We saw Chris J doing well with it yesterday too. So I mean, there's seemingly plenty of opportunity for it to find its place, but I'm still not sold. And Dennis taking mid-control. The danger man so far, the heavy hitter for the Swedes. As Apex and Kenny S, I guess the closest to being a threat here, but plenty of play towards middle. There's not really much utility for G2 to fight back with. They have a couple of flashes, no kits, and only one M4. So, I mean, you've got to hope that Kenny's going to be able to do something with this. MBK, maybe this is your chance to shine. Apex does find one, but look how damaged he is. He gets traded on, and there's that SMG coming in. Quickly upgraded to the AK as the hit now comes through.
I'm damaged too, Lauren, but that's just my childhood. As Kenny gets get right, he only managed 1 shock, so add to it, and G2 finally get around. I didn't think they'd have much of a say, and they got more weaponry out than I was ready for. Perhaps ready for on the NIP side, because they sit still on 14 for now, as 9 is achieved. Still not in the double digits, nothing to worry about, nothing to get too fretful of. On the Ninjas side. Ninjas versus Samurais. This was always like a childhood question. Which one was better? I mean, right now, the Ninjas.
Yeah. From your childhood, what were you gone for?
I I mean, Three Ninjas was a pretty badass movie. It made everyone a fan.
Okay.
Karate Kid was cool. They're
Yeah.
not really either. They're kind of in between.
Yeah.
What did the Samurais have? Samurai Pizza Cats.
What is that?
And that is an all-right cartoon. Oh, you got to look up Samurai Pizza Cats.
Okay.
That said, I don't know, man. Samurai just has a cooler sounding name.
It does sound cool. It does sound
Ninja
cool.
is pretty good. I think I would have picked Ninja.
Yeah, I think as a
I think
kid,
I used to
probably
pick
would.
Ninja, actually, when people ask me that.
All right. Well, let's see if the famous battle goes down either way. 3v3 now, so still pretty close in this. The kids can't decide who they like better. Draken, though, has so much control towards B. He's not exactly pushed forward too far because he doesn't know that this is completely absent of players. But he's been trying to hold the angles that he can. You can see that G2 obviously have read this, but the missed shot means that there's opportunity. Shocks, that is great work. Pushes forward, finds Draken, but traded on pretty quickly. Forrest does have the bomb, and he hasn't exactly gone quick on this. He's waiting to find that chance, and he gets it. Kenny's going down is massive. That's the bomb plant now happening. They still have 38 seconds. Body, you've got 66 HP, and they don't quite know where you are yet. And Rez, did he hear him step? He might have done. Oh, Forrest goes down. Body needed just one more. That was just one more further than he could claim.
Well, one more round is all NIP now need. And if they really are in their pajamas, they should be comfortable in getting it. That's where I was going. I was thinking about pajamas.
curious.
Well, I don't really sleep in pajamas, if you know what I mean.
No, I
So-
don't, but I mean...
Well, I'll leave that
You're
to
in the
your
hotel room opposite mine.
interpretation. Don't suggest, Lauren. now. There's a do not disturb sign on that door, not a sock.
Damn. All right. I have to respect it.
Kenny S. 5-7 in hand. Forrest and Draken are going to hold off top middle. Shocks up close to the smoke with an MP9 if they run through. So this is about as desperate as it gets for G2 to try and keep this game alive. Nice symmetry in their buy. Not quite as CZ on the bottom, but it's the same buy slots, if you will. So Kenny electing to use that rather than the CZ. Maybe he's a man of the people, understands that it's overpowered and wants to just be normal. Gets a kill with it, so why not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, people are starting to work out these pistols and see which ones work and how they can utilize them. CZ obviously coming back in as the fan favorite and everyone else's favorite. At least for a pickup. NIP still vying for that mid-control. Molotov is good. That will force the two players back, give them a little bit more breathing room towards clearing out connector and eyeing up short eventually. But timing is of the essence because NBK is on his way around. On the other side of that smoke, he is trying to keep control of this. It's actually just him towards that B side as well. So he's really putting himself in a tough spot, but they're actually rotating off this. Gerright's selling this so well, and look at them. There's still 3 players in middle. I wonder if they're going to go towards A on this one. Problem being Body possibly down the line, but for now, it is a good bit of a ruse.
Bit of an Eau Rouge. Dennis takes down Kenny S. Don't worry about what Eau Rouge means. Anyone who knows, knows. And Shocks with MP9. So close to the corner, he could catch off Dennis if Dennis wanted to go around, but he doesn't. He wants to plant the bomb instead. That might signal for Shocks to work in. No one's watching him. All right, fair play. Don't know how that's a thing. As Apex takes down Track and they walk out, it's suddenly just Get Right. Get Right's going to try and work in behind, and Apex is posted and ready, and Get Right can't hit the shot. They're already defusing. He's got to hit the shot now. He's okay, well, round done. 15-10. He does not have a kit, though. Oh, Get Right.
Spray.
Oh, he's made it work. How? It might be. Oh, I think there's still time. Body's going to get on this. Hold your breath. This might still be alive. And it is. I think he's got this. It does. That's incredible. Get Right did everything to throw that round
was
away.
insane.
Gets lucky with the spray, and then still they have enough time to defuse it.
Oh, man. That is ridiculous. It's like watching that unfold. I was like, I mean, what can you do? 15-10. Money still pretty shambolic for both sides. Obviously, G2 far more capable to fashion a buy, but they're being quite tentative, quite cautious on it, and I don't blame them to a degree. You've got NIP against. You still need to be investing as much as possible, obviously, when you're up against 15 rounds. Kenny claims the scalp of Dennis, just trying to peer his little head over. And Body going to pick up the mantle where he left off. Smoke goes up, and NIP trying to find anything they can. They've got a Deagle and a P250, so there's still danger there, but I don't see it happening, really, as G2 trying to keep him at arm's length. Apex got dinked up, though. I mean, it's not easy. MBK, he's really into this MP9 right now.
MBK is into the MP9, but into a casket. Body makes up for it. Catches off the boost. Takes him down. Forrest. Okay, Forrest. gets Kenny. Round became entertaining and interesting. That's the things we like here on ESL Pro League, brought to you in part by Satikist and Lauren Pansy Scott.
Like it. There's almost a radio voice there. I was asking Henry if he could maybe muster a radio voice, but I don't know.
Hi, I'm Henry G.
I'd buy anything off QVC if I heard that voice. I'd be like, all right, I'm purchasing that random cat bed that I don't need to have a cat. Kenny, yes! Finds Get Right, and already G2 coming out swinging here. Kenny's feeling confident.
He's gonna have to, because they need to get some kills on the board for us. What are you doing? You knew Kenny was still down there. The smoke's not gonna deter the man. Gets away with it, gets shocks as well, but there's NBK to punch him square in the noggin. They've got the lead by one man in this round, and this would put us 15-12. Then NIP could start maybe realizing they haven't washed their pajamas in a while. They start to stink. They're getting a little itchy. The stress is going to be applied to this game.
Okay, Dennis, Rez. Show me the money. Body in CT is going to be forced. Put that out. Smoke goes up. What else do they have? One flash left. NBK forced off from jungle. Dennis, I don't think he saw him there. Again, discussing whether resolutions hurt or help at times, or at least the aspect ratio. Maybe a case, maybe not. But for now, what we do know is Apex is trying to be the predator, working his way up through connector. But is he aware of what's going on here? Because this could be a huge swing around. Dennis is in window, and he has to make noise or go past someone on the way. So I'm wondering what the game plan is here, because Rez is going B. He's heard the rotate. And he's going behind enemy lines. This is nice stuff. This is some sexy CS. Assuming it works out. And all we need to see is that Rez maybe takes a little bit of the attention. Makes a little bit of noise. Or Dennis can just lurk his way through, find body by the bench. But Dennis doesn't know exactly where he's gone.
Dennis should see him easy here.
Oh,
Yep,
dear.
there it is. Good night. Oh, like that. An injection with affection. Bomb to be planted. It's now Apex to desperately try and make up for the situation as he rotates over. Has a kit, has 2 flashes, 1 grenade, and no chance. If I'm honest. Ooh, Dennis nails him. That's going to be it. 16-11. NIP take the first map. Took them a little bit of time from 11-4 to get there, but that's all fine. All under control. It's all fine. The building's on fire. We're all, you know that little gif? That's what I'm trying to reference. 16-11 for NIP.
Incendiary out.